scrolling through YouTube, watching the shorts as one always does when they just waste their fucking time because they're fucking idiots. Yes, I'm an idiot. Anyways, this is probably one of the. Yeah, I love seeing these super beast people. They understand what's up. And man, like again, I just don't understand how like I don't like is this like lack of dissonance this is that the right term for this like how is unself-aware is the left like basically. Anyways, credit to Benny Johnson for finding this video, but yeah, let's hear what he has to say. I will be pausing probably a few times as I always tend to do.
As a foreigner that's moved to the USA, what the is going on with all these cars getting keyed? Oh, but we don't like Elon Musk. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go up to some random guy's car that just so happens to be made by the guy and destroy it. How about...
Dude, seriously, when have you seen the right destroying things? Like, oh, January 6th, January 6th. Okay, for the amount of people, right? I'm not justifying January 6th, okay? Even though, there's stuff to talk about there regardless. But January 6th, for the amount of people that were there, the amount of people that made it inside of the Capitol, how much damage was actually caused? Yeah, they delayed the certification. Yes, that is bad. Okay, sure. How much damage, property damage, was there actually caused? Like, minuscule, right? The the building was still standing. There was no like black shit or like red shit on the walls. No one threw paint. No one burnt anything. No one really like I think there was like a couple windows shattered maybe. Some people stole some stuff. Yeah. Meanwhile, look at the BLM riots. Look at the people who hate Elon, what they're doing to Tesla cars. I mean, like, it's not even close. Like, we can all say that's like, oh yeah, right-wing extremism is bad. Yes, we can all agree on that. But, like, left-wing is not even, like, the whole left is an extremist at this point. People on the left are calling people who are centrist right-wing extremists. Okay, this is how far these retards have gone. Okay, like you're so far left that anyone who is like just slightly left or not left enough in your views is now a fascist. It's fucking crazy, bro.
Don't destroy other people's shit, you idiot. I never understood this leftist ideology of like, we don't like something, so let's do domestic terrorism. It's like, no.
Now, I wouldn't go as far as call it domestic terrorism. I'm sure, based on certain criteria of domestic terrorism, it would fit. However, I don't know, like, I think terrorism, like, should be more reserved. But this is definitely, like, extra criminal behavior. Vandalism is... I feel like vandalism would be too light of a word. Terrorism would be too heavy of a word. It's like somewhere in between those two. Like, this is... And again, is this everyone on the left? No, of course not. But it is the dominating... Here's the problem, right? It might not be everyone on the left, but the people who are on the left also don't tell, or like they don't come out and say how bad this is, right? You want to call... Okay, like I have like people in the comments who are like trying to defend Hassan, okay? And it's like, okay, you want to call Hassan like, rational. Yeah, okay, he's on the left, whatever, but he's like a rational, he's normal, whatever, right? And it's like, does Hassan laugh about like when he sees people doing damage to Tesla, or does he condone it? He laughs about it, meaning he approves of it. So he's a left-wing extremist, right? I don't see many people on the left who are supposedly not extremists condemn this behavior, right? Did I misspeak there with Hassan? Anyways, Hassan doesn't condemn it, he condones this behavior. I don't see many people on the left condemn this behavior. And honestly, two reasons for that. One, they either agree, or two, they are so afraid of the vocal minority of the crazies that they don't want to fight a battle that might help the other side, like the right, like the Republicans, whatever, and then also get hate from their own side, the side that they more ideologically to an extent agree with. It's like it's a losing battle regardless, right? What the US needs, and honestly the whole world needs, to bring it back towards the center. The problem is you have one side that thinks that the center is right-wing extremism, and the other side is too busy trying to, like, I wouldn't even say they're too busy, but it's like they have to be a bit more extreme in their approach because of how extreme the left is. You know, like pretend you're playing a tug of war. Is that the name of the game where it's like you have a rope and you have two teams pulling, right? The one team has pulled it so far that if you just bring somebody who is like, you know, average strength, he's not gonna be able to pull it back towards for the middle of the rope to be back in the center. You need to bring like a whole fucking squad of people to pull it back towards the right, towards the center. And that's basically what you're getting. Like I had the video about the LGBT thing, also like a quick reference there to like the abortion thing. It's like abortion, no one was fighting against abortions before. Christians have always been Christian. Do you know why no one was fighting against abortions? Because girls weren't slutting around as much, right? When abortions are reaching the numbers of like number 2, that like in the top 5 deaths in the US, abortion is number 2 based on just like the amount, right? Obviously, we don't. There's a good subset of the population that doesn't consider that murder. However, you have the Christians who do. If the number was smaller, Christians didn't really argue about why. It's not a big issue yet. Now that it is a big issue, now you're having all these abortion problems. Why? Because women slutted around too much. Why is there so much, why, like, literally, I'm not gonna lie, the LGBT bullshit won Trump the election. Why? Because you guys went too fucking far left with this shit. You guys went way too far. Now, I'm not saying Kamala would have won. I'm just saying that there's a massive support for Trump and everything he does right now because of how far left shit has been going. You were winning, like the left was winning for like the last 12 years or so. The left was winning, okay? But you weren't winning graciously. You just kept on wanting more. It's like, well, what do you mean I want more? Trans rights are human rights. And it's like, yeah, trans rights are human rights. But for some reason, for a lot of people, it seems that you want trans rights to trump over, pun intended, human rights, right? You want to trump over women's rights for their own sports division. You want to trump over women's rights for privacy in bathrooms, right? That's where the problem is. Like, you are wanting way too much, right? If you just want trans rights to be like normal human rights, you should advocate for trans toilets, or like basically like almost every restaurant I go to, like not a restaurant, but like a fast food place you can go to, there's no like male or female washrooms. It's just washroom. It's for everyone, right? Obviously this is gonna be a problem for a lot of restaurants, but you know, maybe they do a bit of renovation and shit like that. I'm trying to be like very like accommodating for both sides here, obviously, right? In my opinion, if you have a ding dong, go to the men area. If if it's not even that, it's honestly because like you have the examples of like Buck Angel, for example. Buck Angel looks a lot like a man. If Buck Angel went to the men's washroom, no one cares. Honestly, most men don't care. But if you still clearly look like a man, and just because you identify as a woman, you go to the women's washroom, I'm sorry, let's be realistic here. I don't like it will not feel safe for the girls in there, okay? If you are a man transition to a woman and you look a lot like a woman and no one actually cares, yeah, perception is a thing, okay? But you can't put perception on paper, right? So it's a lot easier if on paper they would just say, okay, if you have a ding dong, go to the men washroom. If you don't have a ding dong, go to the woman washroom, right? That is literally like the easiest way to go about it on paper. You can't put on paper perception, right? But realistically speaking, if you are a dude who looks a lot like a woman, right? Like nobody can tell. Like you have to go when you go on dates, you have to tell people that you transitioned. Like it is so unbelievably impossible to tell. No one would care if you used the woman's bathroom, right? Because they would not know. That's all it is. Now, on principle, some people would care, obviously. But I'm saying like they wouldn't know, right, when it would happen.
No one agrees with you. The majority of America thinks you guys are
True.
stupid. You get no girlfriends, you get no boyfriends.
Now that is just a personal tag. Based on, I mean, boyfriend girlfriends may be a different thing, but the left is fucking a lot. Okay, like there's so many abortions. A lot of the abortions are from the left, so clearly they're getting pussy. So I don't really agree with them on that one. But the principle, I agree.
They think you're pitiful these days, man.
This
Just
is
look
true,
at the
though.
statistics in America on who voted for Trump, dude. No one with you guys anymore. No one thinks that leftist cool anymore, man. Because what you guys do is you sign.
Honestly, I don't think anyone ever thought leftist shit was cool. Well, I mean, obviously, like Twitter warriors and shit like that. But it was just... It felt like you had, like, a small group, but an organized group of retards, right? And they just kept attacking at people who were not organized and not together, right? So it's like, imagine like you have a group of like 20 people walking down the street, right? And they like, not in down the street, like, they're going through a mall, right? And every person they meet, they just like they beat the shit out of them, okay? By the time they finish going through the mall, they beat like 1,000 people. But guess what? If those 1,000 people united, these 20 people will get fucked. What happened was they became so fucking hateful, these 20 retards, they became so hateful that the 1,000 people in this scenario did unite against them. And now nobody gives a fuck. That's why you have like, you go on X and it's like, oh, pronouns in bio. Like right away, it's like you know what you're dealing with. You see pronouns in bio, and again, like I don't care like if you have pronouns in bio, right? But at this point, it got to the point where you're like, you just stereotype somebody because they have pronouns in bio. Either they're like a pussy, right? It's like, oh yeah, I believe in this thing, whatever, or they actually believe in it. So like, mentally unwell. Like they actually believe that their pronouns actually matter. Now I know, like in the tech industry, it's practically like I don't think I met one person who actively works in the tech industry that doesn't have pronouns in bio, and they're normal people because like I talk to them and whatever. I was studying for cybersecurity, and we had massive like long conversations, whatever. They are normal people, but what they have pronouns. So it's like obviously not everyone who has pronouns in bio. Some of them just doing it out of, being nice and shit. Right, I'm like might be contradicting myself because I said like I gave only the 2 points, but it's like no, some people are just actually nice and they want to support a cause, and they're not too political. So it's like, oh, if this helps somebody feel better about themselves, I'll do it, kind of thing, and it doesn't take anything out of their way, out of them, right? There are people like that. Met like I think we're like what 45 people. I don't think I met one person in that whole group that like felt like mentally fucking mental. Okay, that felt mental, and a bunch of them had pronouns in bio because just working in the tech industry, and this is just kind of like it became kind of standard there, right? So yeah.
Silence people you disagree with. You destroy things you don't
Yep.
like. You're a bunch of pseudo-intellectuals who think you're smarter than you actually are.
Yep.
You've got a university degree, so you look down on people.
And here's the thing with like the university degree that he first of all, what is the degree about? Second of all, you can't be like you're like, oh, I'm an intellectual, I have a university degree. Calling Elon Musk a fucking idiot, because he also has a degree or whatever, right? Calling Elon Musk a fucking idiot because he doesn't know certain things. Bro, you have a degree in something, but doesn't mean you know everything about everything. You just were good enough to sit in a class, to study for an exam, pass the exam on the subject that you're maybe interested in, but like it doesn't mean you know everything about everything else. It doesn't mean your perspective is in the right place. It doesn't mean you have the right life experiences. Like it doesn't mean shit, right? It's like, oh, I learned like, I don't know, like fucking, I don't know, social engineering, right? So it's like, oh, great, you are maybe brilliant at like fucking, organizing cleanups of snow. Okay. When it's like fucking pouring snow, right? Maybe you're brilliant at like getting jobs done on like highways so it doesn't affect traffic as much, right? But then I can ask you about quantum engineering. You're like, well, the fuck do I know about quantum engineering? And then I can ask somebody who knows about quantum engineering about fucking social engineering, and they don't know anything about that shit, right? Like, just because you have a degree doesn't mean you're fucking smart or you're like an intellectual. It means you are good enough to memorize the stuff that you're working with. Wow. This is like literally almost everyone. Okay? It's like, oh, I have a degree, so I'm so smart. It's like, bro, the dumbest people I met are people who have a degree. Okay? Actually, no, that is not true. I met a lot of dumb people who don't have a degree too. Okay, that is not true. But I would say there's, percentage-wise, there's a very equal amount of people who don't have a degree and like are smart, are intellectual, charismatic, fun to talk to, have interesting perspectives about like multiple issues, either political, economical, and what's called, and well, basically, yeah, political and economical. That's usually my topic of conversation, right? And then you have people with degrees, like, the same. Like, it's like some are interesting and some are fucking stupid as a brick. And you can't talk to them about anything. Dude, I remember going to university. You couldn't even talk about, this is before the Gaza war, right? This is like way before, like over a decade before the Gaza war. And like people were losing their shit when like you would talk about Israel. Like they don't want to open their mind. Right? It's like those are the most dangerous ones. Like fucking people with a degree but a closed mind, and it's like, what the fuck did you learn in university? At least learn critical thinking. Like at the very least, should be a mandatory class in middle school, in high school, and university for like any subject.
With their hands and actually built this nation, and then you expect the majority of America to be by your side going, yeah, come on, let's blow up people's People are tired of this emotional man. I'm in the music business. Let me tell you, this is the most left-wing business. Yeah. People have a go at me all the time for my political beliefs and my affiliations, but the only ones that have a problem with what I say are people who didn't grow up working class like me. You people are so far left, you've gone all the way around, and now you're more fascist than the people you're trying to fight. That clip is...
Dude, Benny Johnson, honestly, respect finding this video. That is very smart. I don't want to call him a kid because it wouldn't be fair, but he seems like early 20s, right? Like he's very young, maybe mid 20s. But like, yeah, like, by the way, socialism and fascism are not that far away. It's like, if it like left and right doesn't feel like it's just a line, it feels like it goes in a circle, and at the end of the circle, like, you have socialism and you have fascism, and they like almost meet together. They're slightly different in some concepts, but like in a lot of things they are very similar, right? Government controls everything essentially, and that's usually how it is. Maybe you can think like of some differences, but I think philosophically it is meant for like the elite class to control the not so elite class, basically the impoverished class. So what he's saying is like, you went so far left, you are actually acting like fascists, and also socialism and fascism are not that far apart. There are some differences, but the principle of them is kind of similar. Okay, of like what the experience you would have as a poor citizen and the experience you would have as a elite citizen. Like, those experiences are going to be pretty much similar. So yeah. Anyways, Ben Johnson, thank you very much for this video. Fantastic short. Glad it popped on my feed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.